We've often said here on the show that literally the children of Harry and Meghan are surrounded in mystery. I mean, really, most of the very first time that anybody saw them of any great worth was during the docu-series. If you recall, of course, Meghan said she didn't want to put her children out there for the public domain. Why should she? That's one of the reasons why she claimed she wanted to live in California, because she didn't want to go for the schoolroom with all the paparazzis outside. Obviously, though, things are different when there's cash involved. Very happy to share very intimate photos and footage of Princess Lily and Prince Archie. And then, of course, there was the pushback, wasn't there, that they wanted to be named Prince and Princess, even though Meghan claimed, of course, it didn't really matter to her. She wasn't necessarily interested. But then later on in the interview, contradicting herself once again, she claimed that, well, they'd been offered something, but she didn't really like it, which, of course, was the Earl of Dumbarton. A lot of people, particularly senior members of the British monarchy, truly felt that this should have been pushed ahead and dealt with a lot faster. But now, of course, it comes to the fact that, well, when you think about it, exactly who's telling the truth about this particular incident concerning our late and wonderful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, and, of course, the royal formerly known as the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry. As ever, let me explain. This is where it gets interesting, because when you consider, if you look at Prince Harry's international best-selling book, lots of things have now been disputed, haven't they? Lots of silly things as well that he included, including the, Taliban, Afghanistan, all of that sort of stuff, didn't play well, particularly for him. But then, of course, he spun it on the Stephen Colbert show, basically claiming, of course, that it wasn't necessarily what he'd written, and if we'd seen it in the full context, we'd fully understand. So in the full context, we wanted to explain this particular story. It's recently been documented that the last time that Prince Harry came over and actually personally saw Her Majesty the Queen was on that flying visit when he went to the Netherlands and popped in to see her for a few hours. Do you remember that one? The one where he then went back on international television in the United States to claim that he was checking in on the Queen to make sure that they had the right people around her. Her thinly veiled swipe, many people felt, at the Queen's personal assistant, Angela Kelly. But moving on, you see, this is the problem, because Prince Harry claims that the last time that he spent time with Queen Elizabeth alongside his wife and two children was when they were over here for the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. And if you recall in the book, he claims that Her Majesty the Queen was amazed at just how well behaved Princess Lily and Prince Archie were, alluding to the fact that because they were American, they may be a little bit more rambunctious. You see what I mean? So who is actually telling the truth? You see, we contacted the palace numerous times to say, did this particular visit take place? Now, when Her Majesty moved around the estate at Windsor, it's always documented. It has to be for security reasons. So if she was popping over back and forth to Frogmore Cottage for the occasional cups of teas and coffees, the security would have had that documented. According to a very good source, and as ever, we have to say allegedly, that's not documented. So again, if this is popping up now in new documentation, who's actually telling the truth? And if that was the case, that of course Her Majesty the Queen very politely declined any pictures on these said visits, one can understand that. Perhaps she was informal and didn't wish for some snapper that she'd never met to take these said pictures. But what is interesting once again is that mystery surrounds Lily and Archie. Were they there? Seemingly they were there, but so many few people have actually admitted to seeing them. And more importantly, which version of events now do you believe? Because in documentation, which has just been released, it says the very last time that Prince Harry spent any time with Her Majesty the Queen was at that flying visit ahead, of course, or, after, should I say, the Invictus Games visit to the Netherlands. So once again, shrouded in mystery. And as ever, something that Harry and Meghan, seemingly regarding their children, thoroughly enjoy. I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.